All right, Mel. What's your topic?
Well, last week I went and saw the latest Marvel movie, Spider-Man: Far From Home. It came out on the 2nd for some reason. Well, I know the reason. Is to capitalize on the 4th being a day off.
Yeah.
And man, were the theaters packed.
Oh, were they really?
Like nearly, I think like every showing. We went on the 4th. We didn't expect them to be sold out, but like, yeah, every showing was selling out. So we had to like wait a couple hours longer and we sat in the handicap row.
I mean, he is basically like the de facto most popular Avenger now too. So
yeah. I want to talk about that. And there will be some spoilers for primarily the villain, because it's hard to talk about more than the first arc or first hit of the story without actually talking about that. So
spoilers.
Gasp. Run away. Yeah. Run away, little girl. Run away.
Oh,
so
I know you get it, man.
God.
It is the first movie we get after Endgame, and they do touch on like the whole, half the population was what they call it, blipped out.
Mm-hmm.
And
does it pick up basically right where it left off, kind of?
Shortly after.
Okay.
I might actually hear that.
Yeah, they're like, but it's all from like kind of the perspective of the high school kids. Like, they're like, man, even though we were halfway through the school year, we all had to start over again, and it sucked.
That would suck.
Yeah, they had to start the school year over again. Yep, and they're like, yeah, now remember this young kid? Now he's our age.
Yeah,
it's weird. And of course, Tony Stark, Iron Man, is dead, and that is a big part of Spider-Man's storyline. Dealing with that and the fact that now the world is looking for a replacement. Basically,
a replacement Spider-Man.
A replacement Iron Man.
Oh,
like
okay.
Someone to fill in Iron Man's shoes.
Sorry, I must have heard that, because I'm like, wait, what? This is his movie.
No. Yeah. So it's based, but the story kicks off with Peter just wants to go on his vacation. His science club or whatever is going to Europe for a school trip,
mm-hmm.
and he just wants to leave the superhero stuff behind, and he has this elaborate plan to confess his feelings to MJ because he's a teenager, and it does not go all that great. It's very like the first bit of the movie is very like teen romance movie, like before and then Nick Fury shows up and it's a superhero movie again.
You forgot this was a superhero movie,
right? Like it's
Samuel L. Jackson is here to remind you otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, so he ends up ghosting Nick Fury. Nick Fury keeps calling him, and he won't. And Peter doesn't want to pick up. He leaves his suit back. He tries to leave his suit at home. He just wants a break from being Spider-Man after the whole Endgame thing that went down.
Mm-hmm.
He was sort of dead. Now he's back. But Nick Fury decides that he can't do that. The world needs some help, and he's all they got. Well, him and Mysterio,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, Quinn Beck, is that his name? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I think it's Quinn or Quentin, but he shows up because there's these elementals, that beings made up of fire, wind, water, and air that are popping up. And they destroyed the world he was from, a different universe. And
really,
yeah. So they're showing up on this world now at the same points they showed up on his world. So he is able to sort of give them a heads up. And when Peter is in Venice, the water one shows up, and he ends up having to deal with it without a costume. He runs around with trying not to show reveal who he is, but after that he still tries to run away from the problem and gets diverted to Prague instead of going to France, and they end up fighting. The fire one shows up. It's supposed to be the last one, and him and Mysterio team up, and they finish him off. And then the big twist that Mysterio... I forgot. Tony Stark leaves Peter these one last gift, and it's these sunglasses that have an advanced AI that control just basically all of Iron Man's tech.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't. He's like, this is too much responsibility. I'm 16. I just want to hang out with my friends. So he tries to pass them on to Mysterio, and shortly after, that's when Mysterio reveals who he was. Anyone who knows anything about Spider-Man is that Mysterio is a con man who uses illusions, and all of the elementals ended up being these illusions that Mysterio just wants to be the hero to the world. And these glasses will help him do it. And he doesn't care if who dies in the process of him getting on top.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The big theme of the movie is things aren't always what they seem, and it's throughout the entire movie, and it's pretty great. There are some stunning visuals that associated with Mysterio that are like straight out of a comic book. Like probably the most...
Always love it when they do that.
Like probably some of the most comic book like scenes in the entire MCU. Like these are like, it's so good. Like even topping Doctor Strange, really. Like I kind of want the team behind this to do the next Doctor Strange movie. Like,
yeah.
I think they could definitely play up, like they could the mysticism of Doctor Strange, and make it look amazing. And it's and it gets pretty brutal at times too. A lot darker than what you might expect from like a teen rating movie with some of the stuff that, yeah.
That's
they
actually cool to hear.
Yeah, they some of the emotional and physical stuff they don't really pull any punches on. Yeah, like it's a very Spider-Man story.
Yeah,
like he's always stuck between
Peter
trying
Parker
to live a
versus
normal
Spider-Man,
life,
yeah,
and being Spider-Man. And I think that the director said that the first one was a kid trying to be an adult, or wanting to be treated like an adult, and this one is everyone treating him like an adult when he just wants to be a kid.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, which I assume the third of the trilogy will like culminate in a coming of age story where he finally takes up full responsibility for everything, because the movie definitely portrays him as someone like that. They're probably like, if they have a 10-year plan, like I think Spider-Man's going to be at the forefront of like the next Avenger plan or whatever. It'll be very interesting to see him grow up past these movies.
Because the next one might be him in college, maybe.
I can't say.
Depends.
There's some stuff that happens, especially the post-credit scenes or the mid and post-credit scenes.
You can spoil the post-credit scene for me if you
I'm not going to right now.
Okay, after the podcast.
But it's some of the best stuff, like some of the best use of the post-credit scenes that sets up the next like Spider-Man arc and possibly the next phase of Marvel. Like, because this is the last Phase 3 movie. And it does feel like sort of an epilogue to the like...
Yeah, because they got to move on from Iron Man and Cap and stuff.
That, And
Which I'm glad for, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. Change. They're changing things.
Yeah. One thing is the way they did Mysterio's backstory is they did tie it to Iron Man, which is one of the things I've seen people like less happy about, to have another villain tied to Tony Stark. But I don't know. To me, it made sense because just of how prolific he is to the MCU universe, like on Earth, like everything he does.
Yeah.
But it's also Mysterio is a team, like he's the face, but it's like him working with a team of basically other people that have been scorned by Tony Stark. Like one of the guys is from the first movie. The scientist who gets yelled at by Jeff Bridges' character about Tony built this in a cave with a pile of scrap or whatever.
Awesome.
Like he's that scientist. Yeah, it's yeah, they all have like this tie to Tony Stark, and
That's hilarious.
It really plays into Mysterio's backstory from the comics. Is he was an actor, and it really sets like in this one he was actually in this one he was the guy who invented the barf unit, which is from Civil War, the thing where you like Tony Stark looks at like is showing the scene with him and his parents, the holograms. Yeah, and Jake Gyllenhaal's character created that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and he's basic like he doesn't have like the kind of motivations where like that make you sympathize. Like he's not a sympathetic villain. He's just kind of a dick, but he's still so good.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal also is a really good actor.
Oh yeah, he is.
Which is funny because I always think back to him as Bubble Boy. Whenever I see him,
oh man,
like
he was Bubble Boy, wasn't he? Yeah,
it's like always the first thing I see.
When he started doing serious movies,
Nightcrawler was like his big,
like
creep factor moment. Like
everyone loves Donnie Darko.
Yeah,
Prince of Persia, not so much.
Yeah, he also like gets to act badly, like when he's pretending to be Spider-Man's friend, but it's just like sort of off. Like there's just something off about the performance, and then when the twist drops or whatever in like the first 30 minutes of the movie, it's just it's really good. Like that switch. It's always great to see actors sort of like kind of act badly when they are good actors.
Meta acting within the movie, basically.
Yeah, that's actually a very cool and fun thing to see at times.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, it's got a lot of good, like, it's got a lot of touching moments. I find it, there's a lot of really funny stuff going on, really good callbacks. I really liked just the solo experience though. Like, there are some, characters, Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and Happy from the other MCU stuff, but no like heroes other than Spider-Man, which is just kind of cool coming down off of Endgame. It was nice to get back to that kind of feel. Man, I love Spider-Man though. He's the only hero in the MCU that is like trying to also live a normal life, which like Ant-Man tried, but now he's just off doing science stuff. Like, or they don't like, and tons of other people don't even have a secret identity. Like, it's just so good. Like, they really like are pushing even though in this version of Spider-Man, we never see his moment with Uncle Ben and with great power comes great responsibility, but they're really like that is at the heart of this movie.
Yeah, you can see it
without it just being said, right? Like it's more show than tell.
Yeah, I think they don't want to repeat the Raimi thing where it kept calling back to that scene in every movie.
Right. People have seen Spider-Man's origin twice now on the big screen.
We don't need to see it anymore, yeah.
Like his suitcase does have I think it's I can't remember Ben the initials for Ben Parker. So like he was, he was around at one point.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to see that death again. And also, like
Sure.
Iron Man does kind of fulfill some of
The
that
father
same,
figure-esque role.
Right.
Yeah.
And him coming to terms. The teacher from the first one is back, and he is hilarious. I think Zendaya really gets more into her role as MJ. Like,
That's good. She didn't have a lot to do in the first one because of
I think she
Vulture's daughter.
feels, she feels like more into the character as well. Ned's still there, his friend. Like, all of the basically most of his class
Flash.
from before. Yeah, Flash is there. Got snapped, so they're still all the same age. There's one guy who is sort of like a minor antagonist on the relationship side of things.
Mhm.
That he's like the only person who wasn't snapped, so he was really young before, and now he's their age. He's also on the trip. But yeah, I liked it more than the first one, I think. But
Really?
some people are like,
I've seen most people say they're about equal. Probably.
Yeah, I think I just liked the school trip setting more than just the
New
typical,
York.
like the normal high school setting. Like I really loved the way they try and do it as a teen movie mixed with superhero stuff. I'm just a fan of teen movies anyway. Always have been. Just, I don't know.
You just like that topic, man.
Yeah.
You know what you like.
And yeah, Tom Holland as Spider-Man
does a really good job.
Yeah, he just does a good job.
Yeah, he hits all parts of Spider-Man. Just being Peter Parker and just like
he's a very enjoyable character to watch, especially playing.
He's really got the snark levels down too, which I don't think. I know people love Tobey Maguire, but he never really had that.
Yeah, he was not as good as Spider-Man.
Right.
I like Tobey Maguire more as the awkward, weird, nerdy Peter Parker than Tom Holland. But Tom Holland's in the suit is better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they updated Peter Parker to even Flash is a different kind of bully. Like, it's more typical of like a current high
school. They're Zoomers,
setting.
Mal. Just say it. They're Zoomers.
I don't know what that means.
I don't actually know what that means either.
Okay. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
They're not boomers. They're Zoomers.
Well, I mean, like Gen Z, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's the term.
Yeah.
That's the internet lingo term.
Oh, I hadn't heard that before. But yeah, they even humanize Flash a little bit at the very end, they give him a little moment to where you're like, oh. They also focus more on his spider sense, which is pretty cool. Like that's another underlying thread of the movie, which I liked seeing. And it leads to a really awesome scene. It's never been a big focus of any of the other Spider-Man stuff.
But it's nice to see here.
Yeah.
Good.
Because it's a really cool, not needing visuals for choreography really can open some things up, which is cool. Yeah.
So have they said what's next in the MCU movie-wise?
I don't even think we've got exact confirmations. I know they're making the Black Widow prequel.
And Black Panther 2, I'm sure, is in the works.
Yeah, they've confirmed that there's going to be at some point a so the Black Widow one is in production, I believe, right now. And then there will be a Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Guardians 3 eventually.
Captain Marvel 2.
Captain Marvel. Then they've got some of the TV stuff, but for the streaming service stuff. But we have 2 movies coming out next year, but I don't even think they've said what they were exactly.
I don't think
everyone assumes Black Widow will be one of them, but I think we find out next week at Comic-Con.
Okay. Then you can report on it then, right?
Yeah.
You're going live to the event, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's absolutely going to be there. Sure.
Reporting from the floor.
We're going to send him out there with our big expensive.
Our budget of $0. Fly Mao out there all the way across the country.
Gonna get him the finest hotel. He'll be able to sip on the greatest of wines as he peruses.
There was something in the post-credit scenes that may be hinting at Fantastic Four, which would be cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they need to do an actual good version of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But we won't. Maybe. We don't know what's like. They're going to be. We know that they're going to be at Comic-Con next week, so look forward to that.
They'll be saying. They have to be saying something. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it. I want more Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite. So,
yeah.
Like, he's the world's favorite. Like, he's the most popular superhero in the world, basically. I know Japan
loves him and Batman, basically.
Yeah.
Japan really loves him.
Like, I've seen a few different articles recently, like about different directors talking about why Spider-Man appeals to Japan versus all of these other Western heroes. And generally, it's because he's young and just
young.
It's the closest thing to their. It's their closest thing to their animes and their mangas.
Right. I mean, he's responsible for the Power Rangers.
It's just like one of my Japanese animes.
Thank you, Meta. I was waiting on that.